chilly today. It is the perfect time to make a Koo pineapple and pecannut dessert. Let's get started. We're going to make a little bit of an egg, butter, and sugar mixture. I'm using a combination of white and brown sugar, but you use whatever you have in your pantry. And some melted butter. If you're worried about food cost, if your budget's a little bit constrained, you can always use a neutral vegetable oil. So we're gonna give this a little bit of a mix. Again, mixing until all the sugar is melted. And we have a little bit of air incorporated into our dessert. We have now a lovely, airy, fluffy base for the rest of our ingredients. I'm going to use my spatula, and again just make sure that nothing was trapped around the edges. Everything is incorporated, and now this is to be treated like a delicate lady because we don't want to knock out any of the air that was so generously created. So I'm adding baking soda, vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, and always remember salt. So I'm using only baking soda in this recipe because I don't really want lift. It's more there for creating a crisp edge around our dessert. Swish and flick. All right, next up, I think this part's done. We need to chop some of our nuts, and then you're gonna move over to adding our flour last, again, so that you don't develop the gluten. And then last but not least, we will have our Koo pineapples, which is also gonna add some flavor and juiciness to it all. So let me put this aside and we'll start on the nuts. Always a good idea to roast your nuts beforehand so that they don't go soggy when you bake. Just to break up the bites, have some small bits, leave some bits bigger than others for variation in texture. So I like using a bench scraper. It's been a lifesaver for me since I probably came late to the party and finding this tool. I'm just checking my ratio. I think I'm happy with that. Up next is I'm going to open our big tin of pineapples. Rather use something else. Be careful not to cut yourself if you're doing this. Okay, let's scoop some of these apples in. Got my apples in here. I'm just giving it a rough mix because we still need to add our flour, and you'll notice that I left that for the very last so that we don't develop any of the gluten and it stays nice and crisp. So that is roughly mixed. Now I'm going to add some of my flour. So right now, again, folding it in, trying to make sure that I'm not leaving any pockets of flour that is unhydrated. At the same time, not mixing vigorously. You can see our mixture is got a nice ratio of nuts to apples to the batter. So now we're gonna add our batter. Then we're gonna bake it at 160 degrees. And then depending if you've mixed this into or poured this into smaller containers, You're gonna have to gauge it depending on how big it is. Mine, I'm gonna leave for about 35 to 40 minutes depending. I'll have a look. The temperature is quite low, so we have time for everything to caramelize. Then you wanna make sure that your dough goes all the way to the edge and that it's sort of level, so that you have an even canvas when you take it out of the oven. How's that? Off to the oven. Our pudding is now ready. You want to pour over the glaze while it is still hot. So try and get to every corner. So budget a little bit with your sauce. And you can serve this however you like. Probably the easiest thing to do is with a nice luxurious scoop of vanilla ice cream, maybe with a dollop of normal cream, chantilly cream. Our Koo Pie apples has magically turned into a wonderful, scrumptious, hearty dessert, ready for your guests to enjoy.